Who the fuck is going to be able to beat Dricus du Plessis? Tai Tuivasa, 0-5 in his last 5. Kai Kara-France just ruined the Steve Erceg storyline, man. We're going to be talking about UFC 305 today in this little recap. All the smoke MMA. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We're going to be starting with the main event, and we're going to be ending with Carlos Prates versus Li Jingliang. So first of all, man, Dricus du Plessis, the only man to ever finish Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya as well, with beating Strickland by a very, very close decision. I know most people thought that Strickland won. I had it 3-2 du Plessis. Please don't shoot me. But this was a really fun fight, man. I know Dricus going into this fight was saying he didn't want to be one of those guys that has a really hyped up fight and then it doesn't live up to the expectations. And man, these guys fucking delivered. And I expected Dricus to either win like a 49-46 decision or get like a round 3 or 4 KO. Shit, it was in round 4, but a submission, man, and I feel like it should have been kind of more obvious, but I did not pick a submission on this one. I feel like most people kind of didn't, but I guess we kind of should have known what was coming, man. This fight, Israel started as like a -140, and it ended up becoming a pick'em. I mean, dude, even before this fight was announced, I feel like Dricus was going to have the edge, and I just in kind of everything, and honestly, I kind of doubted Israel more than I should have because he performed really fucking well. You know, I think he won rounds 1 and 3, and then before the submission, I mean, no, low-key, he was getting fucked up in the 4th. So du Plessis won round 2 though with his wrestling. And then, I mean, dude, this was a brawl though, man. Like, Izzy was landing the cleaner shots. I mean, it was really like, he was very precise with it, very technical, but also like he was landing heavy, you know? Shit. Du Plessis, on the other hand, I mean, this guy just looks like a drunk guy at a bar just swinging, but it works. It's insane. Like, he's pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world right now. And this guy just is swinging and banging. And I think it's his pressure in his heart, man, because he was looking gassed. He was looking gassed in that 4th round, dude. But he pulled through and he got the win, and it was a great win. And shit, man, now I think Israel was going to be his biggest test. I think Whittaker presents problems for him. I think Strickland rematch is going to be very interesting. I think du Plessis takes that one, though. Chimaev, who the fuck knows with that one, you know? I think, and this could be controversial as hell, man, but I think du Plessis beats all 3 of those guys. I think we're going to see a situation where this guy gets a couple more defenses. Now, I could be wrong as hell, you know, because matchups are everything in this game, but shit, man. Du Plessis landed 4 of 9 takedowns. Izzy was kind of 0 for 1 there. I mean, the ground game wasn't, you know, at times super impressive from Dricus, and sometimes it was on fucking point. I mean, he almost had him out in the 2nd, or almost had it locked in, and then the 4th, obviously, totally just pieced him up on the feet, man, and then that's what eventually got him down. It was so funny, low-key, when Israel started pointing to the ground, and then Dricus got the 1-2-3 in, and then just took him down and then submits him. This shit was not a Holloway moment, man, but this was a great fight. I don't see a lot of people that are going to be... I mean, Dricus' title reign is just super interesting because he has such a weird fucking fight style, but he keeps winning, man, against all fucking odds. So I like the guy, you know, and they squashed their beef afterwards. That was awesome to see, honestly, because like the build up to this fight, sometimes like the whole fucking like race war thing, I understand it was more on Izzy's side, but you know, it was just a highly intense rivalry, man, and to see these guys be so fucking respectful afterwards, like, I mean, just seeing them in the post-fight press conferences, seeing clips of them backstage, seeing them in the cage afterwards, like, I mean, these guys really just squashed the beef, and, like, I love to see it, dude. And so, yeah, Dricus is champ. Moving on to Kai Kara-France versus Steve Erceg, man. Jesus Christ, it was the craziest timing for me, right? Because I was thinking in my head, I kind of watched a few of the prelims, and I watched, like, the main card, and obviously we're just coming off Hooker Gamrot, and, you know, I was really excited for this fight. But, you know, the round 1 was going by, and it wasn't slow or anything like that. Kai was throwing big punches. Erceg was landing a bit, but, man, it was the craziest time, and it was like the John Anik call of he is not the cloth from which he is cut, and then Edwards gets the fucking KO. I literally thought in my head, I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm getting fucking, like, kind of tired right now, bro. I mean, it wasn't 5 a.m. or anything my time, but and then the second that happened, like 4 minutes something in the round, fucking Kai, man, lands those big shots he was shooting pretty much the whole round, and he finally connected, and he took Erceg's ass down, man, and damn, it hurt to see. You know, I know a lot of people had Erceg. I think that hurt a lot of parlays, man. It definitely hurt mine, man, but I was doing pretty shit with picks last night, to be honest. I was 2-3 on the main card. But, damn, man, I mean, yeah, Erceg was a pretty sizable favorite. I think like a minus 190, minus 180 going into this one. And damn, I mean, Kai just landed those strikes and he ruined the Erceg storyline. I mean, a lot of people thought he won against Pantoja. And then this was going to be like his big fight to prove like he really, really belongs. And Kai shut that shit down. Kai shut that shit down, man. I mean, what a knockout. And I knew that these guys both had great power for flyweights. I mean, mostly Cara. I mean, Usyk knocked out Matt Schnell, who has the chin of a pigeon. I don't know if that's even a bar, but to get that crazy finish, man, and really, I mean, he definitely increased his stock tonight. He was definitely getting outshined in the build-up by his teammates Adesanya and Hooker. I mean, even at the post or the pre-fight press conferences, even in interviews, even by just like the community, like shit, man. Kai was getting very overlooked. I don't know, very overlooked in the fight. I do think overlooked in the fight, but honestly, just overlooked in general. Like all the hype was going to his teammates, and Kai was left for fucking dry, dude. But he made a statement, and he's definitely on the map. I mean, he got robbed against Albazi in his last fight, and before that, he was doing great. A couple fight win streak, I believe. And then beating Usyk like that is crazy. I mean, if he took him to a slow decision, that's one thing, but knocking him out in the first round, like that puts Carr on the fucking map. I mean, dude, 13 round one finishes for a flyweight. This tiny little man who looks fucking goofy as hell when he's like, and he's like, and he's like, you know what I mean? Slightly autistic energy, but dude, no, I fuck with Kai, man. And I think it's so interesting seeing his pre-fight interviews versus like post-fight. He's so confident afterwards and so like relaxed, and his pre-fight interviews is kind of awkward and shit, man. It's fucking funny, but this is tough for Usyk. But I don't think it's over for him. I mean, he's young as hell. I know Kai's relatively young too, but I mean, Usyk, give him someone maybe in the 10 to 15 range. You know, I think that'd be kind of fair. But if he wants to try and shoot again, for top 5 to top 10, I mean, I'm not going to stop the guy. He's great, and he's a great prospect. But shit, man, I just think kind of needs to build up a little bit after this one. The close fight for Pantoja increases stock, and I don't think this loss really hurts it. But, you know, I feel like a lot of us were kind of rooting for him. So for Kai to get the 2 knockdowns and for Kai to take him out like that was fucking crazy. It was a great fight for how long it lasted. Okay, so Gamrot versus Hooker, man, I'm not going to lie. I did not expect this fight to be such a banger. I mean, this was fight of the night. You know, on a card with great fights, this was fight of the night, dude. I mean, the disrespect to Hooker going in this fight was crazy. I mean, I personally thought Gamrot was going to win, but Hooker was in it, man. I mean, I was saying too, man, Hooker is going to be in this fight, you know. Gamrot has been prone to knockdowns in his career, and I knew Hooker was going to get at least one, but to just put that masterclass on the feet like that was fucking crazy. I mean, it was a really, really close fight, though. It was a really close fight. I'm not going to lie. Like, I mean, that was Gamrot's, I mean, shit, man, I've seen a few of his fights, and that was his first entertaining one, I believe. And he was saying that afterwards. Like, he was going up to Anik and all these people, and he was like, entertaining fights now. I have entertaining fight now, yes. Like, it was fucking... Hell yeah, he did, though, man. And I bet he kind of hates it because, like, that he really went out there and tried to put it on the line, and he still lost. Barely, too. I mean, I'm so glad Hooker's in the top 5. Like, I fuck with Hooker heavy, and, like, Hooker's awesome, and for him to be in the top 5 in 2024, Petr Yan gets a win, Dominic Reyes gets a win, Poirier almost beats fucking Makhachev. Well, I shouldn't really even count that, but like, there's people that are coming back this year, man. So, I mean, Tony Ferguson fucking ate shit again, but, you know, this is the year of comebacks, and Hooker being in the top 5, it was not on my bingo card for this year, man. This was a really competitive fight. I mean, Gamrot was a minus 400 coming into this thing, which is fucking insane. Gamrot had 5 minutes of control time. Hooker had 130. Gamrot was 5 for 15 on his takedowns. Hooker did not shoot. And, man, Gamrot really was impressive with the striking tonight. I believe he got a knockdown. Let me see this shit. No, he didn't. He dropped Hooker to his knee, though, but not a knockdown. Sorry, I was misremembering that shit. But to, you know, really kind of show off his striking. I know a lot of people sleep on his striking, me included. So to see this performance tonight where he was not afraid to kind of stand and bang with Hooker was super awesome to see. I mean, I don't know really how a lot of people are going to score this one. A lot of the rounds were pretty close. Hooker's comeback in the second half of round 1 and the second half of round 2 was fucking awesome. Round 3 was pretty close. If I'm remembering right, I would say that was kind of the hardest round to score. I think you could either have it 2-0 Dan or 1-1 Gamrot or Dan going in the third, and shit, I had it 2-1 Dan, but I wouldn't call this a robbery by any means, but I definitely think this is one of those fights that's really close, and you can kind of go either way with it. And it was really fun, man. I thought Gamrot was just gonna sit on him. Like, that's what I thought going in this fight. I thought Gamrot was just gonna fucking lay on him the whole time, and, you know, for him to say afterwards, like, this is my fun fight now. shows that he was going out there to try and prove that he can fucking stand and bang. And you know what he did? He lost, but this increased his stock tonight. It showed that he can fucking put on great fights if he wants to. He saw, the commentary team was saying this, he saw that Saryukian got the Charles fight because of his, knockout performance against Beneil Dariush. And shit, it did not work out the same way for Gamrot, but he tried. He really tried. And I think if he got this win tonight, it would have put him in a pretty solid argument for title contention, or at least a title eliminator against someone in the top 5. After Saryukian gets a shot, or he faces Saryukian in a rematch, but that's not happening anymore. Hooker being in the top 5 is awesome. The lightweight division is always going to be stacked and intense and amazing, but I feel like it's been getting a little stale with the top 10 lately because these names have been on top for so long, and it's such an entertaining era. They're all fucking great fighters, and it's a stacked division. It's definitely a top 3, top 2 in the UFC right now, but man, Hooker being in the top 5 again is just adds such a twist because him versus Oliveira is insane. Him versus Chandler rematch, if the McGregor fight doesn't go through, which it probably fucking won't. Him versus Poirier rematch is what I would book. Poirier's looking for one more fight. I think Poirier should either face Gaethje or Hooker next. I mean, their fight the first time was so incredible. And, these guys, like Hooker's resurgence and Poirier heading on his way out, I mean, Dan's still young too, man, 34 years old. He's kind of getting close to the edge, but he's still right there. I mean, he said he was the best version of himself. And it's hard to argue with that, man. Gamrot, I think, was his worst matchup in this division, in the top 10, top 15. So, fucking awesome to see. Banger of a fight. Shout out to Gamrot for fighting hard, fighting fun. It was a close fight, but, ultimately I had it 2-1 Hooker, and I'm super happy that he won. Tai Tuivasa. Jarinzo Rosenstrike, man. All right. Tai Tuivasa was the one underdog I had on my parlay. And he fucked me up. In a night where you see Hooker winning, in a night where you see Cara France winning, the underdogs, Tai let me down, man. Tai was saying in the build-up to this fight that he was training for a 3-round fight. You can't do that with a guy like Jarinzo, and I understand the logic going into it, when you're getting finished in the first or second round in your past 4 fights, and, you kind of want to, increase your game a bit, you kind of want to make it a lasting, longer fight lasting longer, whatever the fuck. And man, that just did not work against someone as quick and technical and on point like Rosenstruck. I mean, he's not the fucking greatest heavyweight in the world, but he's definitely one of the most technical in the division right now. And he pieced Tuivasa up. He pieced him up bad, and especially in round 2. I mean, he totally capitalized on Tai kind of fucking up that calf kick when he landed with his toes, straight on the knee, and then he kind of stumbled, and Jarinzo just pieced him up. Tai lost all 3 rounds, in my opinion. As someone who was betting on Tai in my parlay, Tai lost all 3 rounds, bro. I mean, Jarinzo 92 overall strikes, Tai 37. I mean, both these guys didn't have control time. Both of them didn't have knockdowns either. But, this was a pretty fun fight. Round 2 was super entertaining. Round 1 had some solid moments. I don't think it was as good as the Hooker fight or the Carlos Pradas fight or the main event, but it was a solid, it was a solid fight on the card. I mean, I think a lot of people were hurt to see Tai lose money-wise or fan-wise. 0-5 in his last 5. Jesus, just give him someone fucking unranked at this point. Just fucking show that he could still hang, dude. You know what I mean? It was a totally bad decision for him to train for, 3 rounds in the end. I mean, when he was saying in the build-up, I honestly thought it was going to be a good thing. Because I was like, you know what? It shows that he's trying to expand a little bit, improve his game. He's taking this one pretty serious. And it just was a bad matchup to do that at the end of the day. To try and be technical and a bit, I don't want to say slower pace, but yeah, just technical, patient with a guy like Rosenstruck. It clearly did not work out for him. And the judge who had it, I mean, I don't want to dwell on this too long. I'm sure everyone already fucking knows and everyone's shitting on. But, dude, the judge who had 27-30 for Tai needs to be studied in a fucking lab. I'm not even kidding, dude. Put this guy with the fucking mice, with the rats, and just study how his mind fucking works. I mean, I ultimately think the only logical explanation is that motherfucker just put it on the wrong side. He just fucking thought the sides were mixed up, and he was trying to score all 3 for Rosenstruck, and he accidentally did a tie, which is the dumbest thing ever. That's the only logical thing. Otherwise, it makes absolutely no sense. It was clear. Maybe you can give a round for tie. Cruz's dumbass was trying to justify it. He was shit on commentary tonight, by the way. He's the worst fucking one. Always. But, God, just so many dumb calls, bro. Just so many dumb calls. When he opens his mouth and starts yapping, I hate that shit. Damn, though, man. I don't know where you go with Ty. Great performance by Rosenstruck. Shout out to the Australia committee, the Perth committee, for taking that judge off the co-main event. A lot of people thought that one was going to go to a decision. I did too. And I was like, fuck. So to hear them just throw that before the third round started, like that this judge wasn't going to fucking do the co-main, that was so awesome. Like a lot of the commissions in the U.S. just fucking let him keep judging that night. Terrible calls. Like that was... I've seen some robberies. I've seen some shit judging in my years of a fan, man. Dude, that was the worst call I'd ever seen. It was the worst scorecard I'd ever seen. Whatever. R.I.P. Ty. Give him someone fucking unranked. Rosenstruck, going to be number 10. Give him someone 5 through 10. You know, welcome back. It was a good performance. Last, but definitely not least, I want to touch a little bit on a couple of the prelims, but for the main card, damn, man, Li Jingliang, you know, didn't get his suit moment. I mean, he got a post on Insta for it, but didn't get to go at that press conference. Got knocked out for the first time. God, he showed so much heart, though, dude. I mean, he was fucking in it. Like, some of these shots that Protz was throwing at him, you know, Protz was like a minus 400 favorite, minus 300 favorite, something like that. Dude, for Li, I mean, I know that Protz pretty much, he dominated him, but also, like, Li held the fuck in there, so it's hard to say dominated. You know, 20 seconds of control time for Li, not really much ground to hear it all. We didn't expect it to be this. I think a lot of people expected this to be an awesome fight, and it was. This is an awesome fight. Protz got that performance bonus. Dude, what clean striking. What clean, crisp, like, really making your shots count punches coming from Protz. And I mean, dude, he's got power. He's kind of a bit of a skinnier guy, especially for welterweight, a bit of a Pereira build, but just a bit smaller, a little Ian Gary type shit. Man, this guy's a monster. This was only the second fight I've seen from him. I had heard about him, you know, got the Contender Series contract, but he's a monster, dude. Like, the shots he was landing, and, you know, commentary was saying that he was saying earlier in the week, I should have just said he was saying earlier in the week, god fucking damn it. He really doesn't try and chase the knockout. Like, he's trying to land these shots clean, and if the knockout happens, it happens. And, man, he's 4-0 in the UFC if you count the Contender Series fight. 3-0 in the UFC, 1-0 Contender Series, all knockouts. All KO, TKO. To be the first man, I don't care if it's a 2-year layoff, bro. For Li, like, Li was in it, and he was landing so many shots. Like, he was taking so many shots and just eating them. And so it made it even more impressive, like, when Protz just took him out. The first man to finish Li Jingliang. This guy's fucking dangerous. Give him somebody in the top 15 next, somebody 10 through 15, or whatever you want to do with him. He's super fun. This guy's this was only the second fight I'd seen from him. Wow, dude. What an impression. You know, and the finish rates of these Dana White, if you know now you know, fights are insane. Like, most of them are just ending in finishes. I knew as soon as Dana picked that. It's a good pick. You know, dude, wow. Like, totally just puts Protz on the map, especially for a big pay-per-view like this. Such clean, accurate shots. So clean, so accurate. The power is insane. I think he puts a lot of guys out, man. What a great... And for Li, I feel for him. I do. You know, overcame a lot of adversity in the last 2 years to be here in this moment. And for him to lose in devastating fashion, Jesus. But hopefully he'll be back. You know, what a positive guy, man. I'm not going to start glazing the lead. Shit, whatever. Good performance, great fight. Okay, so before I dip, just want to talk a little bit about Junior Tafa, Walter Walker, and then Josh Kulabayo, and then Ricardo Ramos real quick. Okay, so the Junior Tafa fight, first of all, this guy should not even be at heavyweight. I know commentary touched on it a little bit. Jesus Christ, I mean, put this guy at light heavyweight. I mean, he's so small to be a heavyweight, bro. I mean, with Justin, it makes more sense, but... You know, this guy, and he just seriously has no game on the ground at all. You could tell that he was just waiting there. Like, he was piecing up Walter a bit on the feet, and he was just so reliant on that, though, because as soon as it got to the ground, I mean, Jesus, like, no efforts really. I mean, you could tell he was just kind of waiting it out. And then that submission seemed controversial, And I too was like, what the hell? I was like, that he didn't tap. He didn't give a verbal tap either. So I was like, wow, what are we doing? But once they said that, like, it's a rule, and they tell you that, like, you can't yell because a yell counts as a verbal tap. I didn't know that. I didn't know a yell counted. And so then I just shut the hell up. I'm like, okay, like, unless the person ended up going out anyways. I've never even seen someone kind of go out with like a yelling tap, but that's how it was. It was controversial. Tafa super disrespectful after, I mean, slapping him in the fucking face. Even like, you know, I mean, just flipping him off the whole time, yelling a bunch of shit. Security was fucking getting in the way. I mean, I don't know. It kind of blows. 5-3 now. Get this guy to light heavyweight. Tell this guy, I mean, put him with Khabib. Seriously, that guy fucking makes wonders over there. Seriously, like, get this guy going on the wrestling. Valter Walker is not that great of a fighter, in my opinion. 12-1. That's an impressive record, but I feel like he's just lacking kind of a bunch, man. I don't know. A little relying on that name Walker. I could be in the minority thinking that, but, you know, and he did get the sub in round 1, but, you know, against a guy with shit ground game. All right, Josh Kulabayo versus Ricardo Ramos. Split decision. This one was tough to score. I had it 2-1 Kulabayo. Man, this guy did not quit. This guy absolutely showed insane heart. I mean, in round 1, maybe it was round 2, maybe it was both, I don't know, but to take those submission attempts and just not fucking quit. To just be a dog in there. I mean, a dog, dude. That was insane. What a fucking fight. I mean, Ramos is legit, man. You know, first fight I've seen actually from both these guys. I don't want to talk like I'm a fucking smartass, but first fight I've seen from both these guys, man. And Jesus, so what a war. And it sucks because Kulabayo definitely had the crowd on his side. And it was a close fight. I had it 2-1 Kulabayo. I think he took the third. I mean, Ramos didn't do anything with that takedown. So it just like on the striking, Kulabayo was piecing him up. Ramos had his moments, but I don't know. I don't think the takedown counted for much. Apparently 2 of the judges did because it really all came down to that third round. That takedown, that one takedown totally just got it for Ramos. But, you know, it's not the most controversial decision in the world. Some people just view takedowns as mattering more, but I don't know, man. He didn't do shit with it. He literally just held him there, and I think he knew that. He did enough to get the win with that. I don't know, but super entertaining fight. And that's all I got to say, man. Thank you guys so very much for watching. This is the UFC 305 recap. I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. And we got a pretty good card next weekend. So going to be tuning in for that. Probably going to be dropping predictions for that. Thank you guys so very much for giving me your time. Hope you guys got to enjoy the card. We're going to be eating good these next few weeks. We're going to be eating good with cards and action. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks so much.